digital payment services really became a necessity during the pandemic. Preparing for InstaPay and PesoNet and using this to overcome the challenges posed by a rare, pervasive health crisis never crossed our minds. It was really a blessing that we were able to push this NRPS forward because this prepared us for the pandemic. Ako po si Dizon, Director ng Payments and Settlements Department at ito po ang aking HAP Story.
Meet the National Payment Retail System Core Team, starting with their team leader, Deputy Director J.M. Dizon, Bank Officer 5 Analisa T. Resines, Bank Officer 5 Bridget Rose M. Messina Romero, Bank Officer 4 Herman S. Constantino Jr., 2020 Presidential Lingkod Bayan awardee for the implementation of the National Retail Payment System, widely recognized as a game changer because of its benefits to the country's financial ecosystem. The framework allowed interoperability of all payment systems in the country, resulting to better services for consumers. It spurred the use of payment platforms such as PesoNet and InstaPay. Listen to their HAP story.
NRPS Core Team is composed of BSP officers, namely Herman Constantino, we call him Kelly, Analisa Racines, we call her Lizelle, Attorney Bridget Rose Messina Romero, we call her Bridget, and of course myself as the lead. Our advisor is Senior Director Raymond Ischoco. We were awarded the Presidential Lingkod Bayan award because we made a breakthrough in our financial system by creating a payments regulation that is called NRPS. So I would like to emphasize that the NRPS is not a computer system, it is not an infrastructure, it is in fact a regulation. In 2020, physical mobility, physical interaction was limited due to the life-threatening COVID-19 contagion. This regulation paved the way for the establishment of interoperable digital payment services, particularly the InstaPay and the PesoNet, which we badly need, especially in 2020 and 2021. When making funds transfers, payments, remittances, and other financial transactions, the InstaPay and the PesoNet were very timely because they allowed us to make financial transactions using contactless means. Our initiative was therefore a life-saving endeavor that's worth sharing with our fellow public workers and those planning to become part of the government service. We enabled the people to overcome the threats brought about by the pandemic through these digital payment services that they could use when transferring funds. So they need not go to a brick and mortar or to a physical bank branch or an e-money issuer branch just to be able to send money. They can do it at their fingertips. They can receive money also. It's very convenient, it's very safe, and very easy. We also introduced the QRPH. This is a variant of InstaPay. The technology that is used by the consumers is the QR technology. The only difference about QR from the typical technology used for payment is that if you're using QR, you need not encode the account details of the recipient or of the payee. Why? Because you just scan the code and then that code is linked to the account details of the payee or the recipient of the funds. So it's much more convenient. That's why if you look at the merchants, for example, they just display the QR code and then you just scan that code. Then you input the payment, the amount that you wish to pay, and that's it. The money goes straight from your account to the account of the recipient. We introduced two variants of the QR. We have the P2P QR or the person-to-person QR. That's for personal use. And then we have the P2M or the person-to-merchant QR. So this is the one that you see in malls. This is the one that you see being displayed by street vendors, by merchants, by billers, and so on. We have also the eGovPay. eGovPay allows citizens to pay taxes, licenses, permits, and other obligations to the government using the eGovPay portal, which is being maintained by the Land Bank of the Philippines. You just have to access that portal. Then once you have that, you can choose whatever you wish to pay, a payment to the BIR, a payment to the Philippine National Police, a payment to the NBI, and so on and so forth. And then you just encode the amount, and I think there's a reference code that's required, and that's it. Your payment to the government goes to the involved agency.
The NRPS Core Team has taken unprecedented moves in transforming the country's retail payments ecosystem into a safe, efficient, and inclusive environment where Filipinos, regardless of social or economic status, are given equal opportunities to access payment services using financial technology.
The NRPS has driven collaborative partnership among payment industry players, which are primarily the banks and the non-bank e-money issuers like PayMaya and GCash, towards interoperable digital payment services. These services accelerate payments velocity that translates into more efficient conduct of productive activities that sustain economic growth. Pag mabilis ang pagdaloy ng pera, mabilis din ang paggawa ng mga productive activities. Why? Because in every productive activity that we do, we need funds. As I said, when we consume, we need money. When we invest, we need money. When we employ, we need money to be able to pay the employees' salaries. When we import, we need money. When we export, we need money, and so on and so forth. So if you make the payments velocity faster, you are also accelerating economic growth. The NRPS made our country more resilient against the adverse effect of the pandemic on the movement of funds, which are vital, of course. Funds are vital in any economic activity. So without the groundwork that the NRPS Core Team did in prior years, we would have had more difficult, deeper challenges dealing with the pandemic.
Even after receiving the award, the NRPS Core Team has been working non-stop to provide more efficient digital payment services for the Filipinos.
We have more exciting digital payment services in the pipeline, and we expect these services to bring us greater convenience, more safety, greater efficiency. Firstly, we will establish a central bills payment facility, which aims to eliminate the inefficiencies associated with the current fragmented bills payment mechanisms. We will also pursue a request-to-pay service. Lastly, we will put an end to the cumbersome payment arrangement when you amortize a loan. We can do this with the direct debit facility.
Their thoughts on being a 2020 Presidential Lingkod Bayan awardee.
When we received the award, we realized that nothing beats the sense of fulfillment, the sense of contentment that presidential recognition brings forth. From then on, our view of public service that deserves recognition is much, much clearer. It is one that is selfless, genuine, impactful, and above all, flawless. So this realization has been guiding us as we continue to serve the nation.
The NRPS Core Team's call for nominations to the search for outstanding government workers.
To our fellow public servants out there, if you know any government employee who has an exceptional, a remarkable, and extraordinary contribution to public service, now is the right time to nominate him or her for the Honor Awards program so you can help in recognizing his or her contributions to nation building. To know more about this awards program, please visit the Civil Service Commission website at www.csc.gov.ph.
The Presidential Lingkod Bayan is conferred to an individual or group comprised of 5 members for exceptional or extraordinary contributions resulting from an idea or performance that had nationwide impact on public interest, security, and patrimony. Join the search for outstanding government workers. For nomination procedures and requirements, get in touch with the Honor Awards Program Secretariat via email address hapsecretariat@csc.gov.ph or contact the nearest CSC regional or field office.